Okay. Looks like we've got stuff to talk about today. Hello, hello. I'm hoping that this music that I'm just nonchalantly playing in the background doesn't do anything to the stream, because I know how YouTube can be sometimes. So, buenas. Hello, good afternoon. I hope everyone is well. Something really random happened today. So, well, technically yesterday. So I had to do this emergency live stream. That's why there was no prior notice, in case anyone was wondering, Ace, why didn't you let us know? It's not that I didn't want to let you know. How was I supposed to know that this is going to happen? Super, in my mind, it's super random. But yeah, we're going to talk about this whole raiding of the Mexican embassy over here in Ecuador today. We're going to look at some of the news behind that, because in the same way, maybe some of you are getting the news from me right now. I got it literally randomly in the morning while I was at work, because yes, it's Saturday. I work on Saturdays in the morning. Uh, the majority of Saturdays during the month. Sometimes out of 4 weeks, I'll get 3. If I'm lucky, I'll get all 4. I know some people might be like, oh, if you're lucky, you want to work on weekends? Not exactly, but I'd rather work because the hours give me more money for, things that I need to pay off during the month. And if I don't have those hours, then, you kind of suffer. So yeah, we're going to talk about this. I do want to show you, let me put the scene, the article that I found online about this whole severing of diplomatic ties. So with Ecuador, it's pretty crazy. And I even found, I don't think I have it here, and I actually don't know how to open it. I'm probably just going to open it up on my phone and just read it out loud, because I have these certain, I guess you could call it, possible outcomes. I forgot what they called it, but it's basically the negative things that are going to happen because of the severing of these ties with Mexico. And I say possible because the information got to me, but I can't confirm the source. And in fact, even the thing that I have, the information, the I don't know what to call them, the guidelines, I guess you could say, not even guidelines, but they're not it's on a iPhone notes document. So it's like how can I confirm if this is actually the case? But we're going to look through it, because either way, there are possibilities of what is to come because of this whole situation. So yeah, uh, for anyone who's rushed, because I realize some people watch the VOD, which is the video on demand, what I will say is that this is really like right now news, like breaking news. So it's like, even I don't have all the answers to this. And that's why we're going to read through the article together, and we're going to analyze it. And we're going to analyze, like I said, I don't want to call them guidelines, but the consequences. I don't even know if the possible consequences of what happened with this whole situation. And we can talk through it and see what you guys think, because I like to hear everyone's thoughts on the situation. My perspective is, of course, my own, and you might have a different one, even from what people think are going to be the possible consequences. So if you want to know some of my early thoughts, for anyone who's watching the video on demand, like I said, I really think that just from what I heard and just from what I see, like, this is pretty crazy. Like, it's, if these consequences were to come to pass, it would be even crazier, you know? But let's see what happens. So let's look through the article here on theprint.in. So Mexico severs diplomatic ties with Ecuador following the embassy raid. Of course, Daniel Noboa gave the order for this to be carried out, because he does not agree with, hiding criminals. So let's look at the article. Mexico City, April 6th. Mexico has announced the suspension of diplomatic relations with Ecuador after Ecuadorian authorities forcibly entered its embassy in Quito and apprehended former Vice President Jorge Glass, who had sought refuge there. I think that's Al Jazeera reported. Now, for anyone who doesn't like me pronouncing Quito in my English accent, Quito, it's the same thing. You get me. But I get some people don't like that, so I pronounced it both ways. So basically, what I heard in the morning, like this is, of course, the explanation that we see in the news. But I heard in the morning, like I had a conversation with my coworkers. I even had a conversation with my dad when I got home. And the situation is that the people who are they're fugitives of the law. They're criminals. They're corrupt congressmen or politicians. They go apparently to hide in Mexico. Because they've gone to seek refuge in Mexico. And Mexico is apparently allowing them to seek refuge, even though they know or they have information that these politicians are corrupt and they are involved in corruption cases. Even like it says here, Vice President Jorge Glass, he's been found, like if you read down here, Vice President Jorge Glass, a two-time corruption convict, has been residing in the Mexican embassy since December, citing persecution by Ecuadorian officials. So we all acknowledge that he is corrupt, yet the Mexican embassy has decided to give him refuge, which, of course, from what we saw with the actions, well, what we're seeing now with the actions of President Daniel Noboa, he's tired of it. Like, why are you hiding this fugitive in your embassy? And the conversation goes on quite a bit because at least the rumor mill, as you will, because I heard, like I said, like I'm just coming to know this like right now, like this whole invasion of the embassy and this whole conflict. I'm getting to know it right now with you guys. In the morning, I heard it, and right now we're reading through the news. But it's like apparently this, like it says here, he's been there since December, and the president of Mexico, what the president is saying, the Mexican president, I'm not sure if it's in this article, but this is what we talked about with my coworkers and a little bit with my dad. But basically, he knows, not that he knows, the way that the president of Mexico pretty much deemed this whole situation is that the reason why, like, it's a whole tangent. I know it's going to sound like a tangent, but it's important to understand the context behind all of this. Basically, the president of Mexico thinks that this man, Villavicencio, remember, Villavicencio was the presidential candidate who was assassinated due to certain conflicts with gang members, at least from the understanding that we all have. He was targeted by gang members because he had information. But apparently, according to the Mexican president, he was assassinated in order to make it so that the current president of Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, would become the president of Ecuador. So basically, by eliminating Villavicencio, they guaranteed President Daniel Noboa would become the president. At least that's what everyone understands with this whole situation. That's what the president of Mexico has pretty much declared. And that's the reasoning behind why he's giving asylum or refuge to these criminals. And just those remarks, when I heard them, were pretty wild to me, because I think, and I it's kind of unfortunate because even I have to put myself in that kind of position. But people who are in a position of power, and I'm not even in a position of power, but just me being here and talking to everyone about the situation puts me in a position where I have to be careful with what I say, because it could be misinterpreted or it could be correctly interpreted and taken the wrong way. Or, a lot of different problems that could come with whatever I say. So basically, the situation and the reasoning behind all this whole conflict you could say is because President Daniel Noboa is tired of people escaping. Ecuadorian criminals should not be allowed to escape because they're criminals. They're fugitives. They have to be brought to justice. And I completely agree with that. Regardless of who it is, uh, president, ex-president, vice president, ex-vice president, common Ecuadorian citizen, or ex-common Ecuadorian citizen. If you committed a crime, you should be held accountable for it. But there are people who are getting away with it, clearly. So let me read some of the comments that I see that everyone's leaving. I can't read them correctly over here because it's open on my OBS studio and it looks kind of funky, kind of janky. So I'm gonna open it here on my phone so I can check it out and read your comments. I'm sorry if I haven't replied instantly. So I see John Jubal. Hello, John. I'm not sure if that's actually your name, but since it says John, hello. Uh, Also, Carlos. Carlos, greetings. Hey, how's it going? I hope everything is good in Peru. Uh, it's good to hear from you. And Beyond Borders, Ola, how's it going, man? Thanks for being here, and thank you for your support as being a member of the channel. And Kenneth Cruz, hi, hello. So let's look at the comments. I believe that several countries in Latin America are not going to look kindly upon Noboa's actions. He tread upon the sovereignty. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know sovereign is pronounced like that. Sovereignty of Mexico. You should check out AMLO's response to Noboa and how he explained the series of events. I'll see if I can find that right now on Google. But let me read the rest of the comments. Hello, GM. How are you and your father? My father is good. I actually asked him to join here on the stream, but he's kind of tired because he had to stay open until late, which is what he's had to do constantly. And it's unfortunate because like he doesn't sell a lot, even though he stays open until late, and staying open until late gives him a little bit more of an opportunity. So if he doesn't stay open until late, he doesn't sell more. So yeah, that's just the situation. And I'm sure he appreciates your greetings. Hopefully I can tell him later, or he can join even just to say hi and give his opinion. Though I asked him a little bit about it, and basically it's just he just gave me the information about the situation. Let's see here. Another important consideration is that Glass is not a criminal. He is a political target. He has been smeared. AMLO observed the fact after Villavicencio was assassinated, Noboa's polling went up and he won the election, while Luisa Gonzalez went down and she lost. I get what you're saying there. And if you look at it in that perspective, like it looks almost on purpose. Like, hey, like let's sabotage Luisa by making her best competitor, which was Villavicencio, disappear. And that way his votes go into the next best candidate. Although I'm still kind of surprised Noboa over this other guy who was the security guy. I forgotten his name now, but a friend of mine loves him and she wanted him to win. Although I do remember that part of the reason why I think people didn't want to vote for him was because he kept talking about Correa, and most people are kind of tired of that conversation, like the Correistas and everything. We know that there's problems with Correa and the Correistas, but it's like if you keep mentioning it as an argument for your political campaign, it kind of looks bad now because like let it go pretty much. So I get that. So it does look very suspicious, and I get that. But you have to realize that Villavicencio was not, I don't like, it's not like now he just randomly became like started participating to become the president. Like he became a presidential candidate and now the cartels were targeting him. He's been targeted by cartels for years because he kept trying to report on the truth, on the situation of the country, of what the cartels were doing behind the scenes. So he was targeted. So it's kind of weird, like to just say that, oh, because of they wanted Noboa to win, that's why he was killed. So I don't know. I can't say that's the actual case. I'm not the person I'm not the person who ended the life of Villavicencio. B, I have no connections with the cartels, mafia, or anything of the sort. And C, I don't even have connections with the presidents other than us being Ecuadorians. So I can't really say what is actually going on in their minds or behind the scenes, other than the possibility, in my opinion, with Noboa, of him wanting the country to be better. Like, I think that's what every president should want for the country. So Kenneth says, just my opinion, but I think Noboa is just trying to save face for the shortcomings of Plan Phoenix. And I'm not Correa supporter, just for your information. Also, it's his birthday today. Lol. Happy birthday to him. It's Correa's birthday? I didn't know that. I don't know if it's Correa's birthday or if you're talking about Noboa. I don't think it's Noboa's because there would have been a lot of things on Instagram. But if it's Correa's birthday, happy birthday, Correa. Um, I have like I'm not a hateful person. I just think if Correa committed crimes, he should be held accountable for them. So, yeah. Um, Beyond Borders, I find it strange that Noboa went from basically unknown to winner of the presidency. I'm not implying election tampering, just making a note as John Jubal. I get what you're saying. Like I said, I completely get it. It does look very suspicious, but the reason why everyone says, like, I remember the conversation because that's still very fresh in my mind because, of course, Noboa won. I remember that everyone said that the reason why Noboa won and why all the votes went for Noboa and not the guy who had the defensive plan. I don't remember what his name was. Like I said, it didn't go to the defensive guy because he was he had Correa like jammed in his throat. Like he just kept mentioning Correa, 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 Correa. And like I said, people are tired of that. Noboa just kind of played it safe. He was just cool, just sitting in the background. And like he was the young guy also. That was another conversation. And people want to see what someone young can do to change the country. Like a different mentality from the typical, older generation. So those are just the things that I heard a lot about. I can't confirm if that was actually the case because like I said, I'm not in the mind of all Ecuadorians, but the people who at least were in my surrounding and like the main conversation online pointed towards the fact that Noboa just kind of played it safe. He didn't go into the whole, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. He didn't try to like, blame people for that. He just kind of like, he just did what he had to do. He just kept giving his proposal. He responded with, whenever there was a debate, he responded politely and smartly. It's just kind of like he responded in a way that like was calm and peaceful, which is cool. And like I can understand that would be the reason why people would want to vote for him. Like I can also understand why some people might not like that. They might want someone more extreme. Like I said, my friend, she was all for Jan Topic, this man. That's the defensive guy. Jan Topic, because he was 100% like, I'm going to change the country. I'm going to put the criminals in jail. I'm going to do things. He was basically going to be like El Salvador's president, Bukele version 2.0, the Ecuadorian version. But some people didn't like that energy that he had either. So there were people who really liked it. Like my friend really liked it. She was like, I want this man to win. But when he had no chance, of course, she supported Noboa because she was never going to support Luisa because a lot of people who, you could say a lot of people who understand the situation more don't support Luisa Gonzalez or Rafael Correa. You could also say that if you're a really big Correa supporter, that you're crazy to not support Correa because Correa did so many good things. But we can have that conversation until our faces turn blue, and we're never going to get anywhere. Let me just read a few more comments, and then let's go back to the article. Let's see here. He wasn't unknown, though. He was known because of his father. The guy who was known was murdered, so the spotlight by default got put on him. Yeah, that's another good way to look at it. Noboa, everyone knew Noboa because of his dad. That's another thing. And they knew that Noboa was a smart guy because he studied, well, at least everyone believes this because he studied in the States. I think he studied, if I remember correctly, in Harvard. It gives him a good like image for people who want to like vote for someone. Peru also had a lot of problems with AMLO, Lopez Obrador, Mexican president. He tried to protect Pedro Castillo, who is charged with a big list of criminal activities, facing 35 in prison. Our people stopped his escaping plan to Mexican embassy. What Peruvians did was using our cars and roadblocks, so Castillo was not possible to hide in the Mexican embassy. That's what I heard the conversation. Like my friend said, like, and even what I saw online, like Noboa is not going to allow a criminal to escape. And it does seem kind of crazy to me that Mexico knowingly protects criminals, though you could say, and I'm just throwing this out there, I'm not saying that this is the case. You could say that Mexico protects anyone who was involved in corruption that has to do with drugs and cartels and mafia. You could say that because Mexico has been known for having these cartel issues. So you could say that that was the case. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that that could be the case. We're here to analyze and talk in a friendly manner. If you have an opinion, let's talk about it in a friendly way, of course. Kenneth, an Ecuadorian friend, joked to me, we went from incompetent old politicians to incompetent young politicians. I've heard that too, because a lot of people are saying that because of what happened in Semana Santa, in this whole Easter weekend, people are like, Novoa is not doing a good job. Like, there were a lot of assassinations during this whole Easter weekend. And it's surprising considering there's the military out there. So it's people look at it and they're like, so Noboa says he's going to do this, but look, this is still happening. I get it. I completely get it. Jimmy, howdy. How's it going? How's it going, Jimmy? So yeah, let's keep looking at the article. Let's read through it a little bit more. And then I want to show you some of the memes I found on Reddit. Some of the topics of conversation. Typical. All right. So going down, Mexico's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement on Friday offering political asylum to Glass and urging Ecuador to ensure his safe departure from the country. However, Ecuadorian special forces equipped with tactical gear, including bulletproof vests and helmets, conducted a nighttime raid on the embassy, leading to Glass's arrest. Al Jazeera reported. So yeah, that's pretty much what the image is. If you saw the thumbnail for my live stream, you saw that there's the police in tactical equipment. You can also use the image here as a show of that. I don't remember if they have it over here too. I don't think this is the same one, or is it? Well, either way, let's keep looking through over here. Where were we? Oh yeah, down here. Ecuador is a sovereign nation, and we are not going to allow any criminal to stay free, Ecuador's presidency wrote in a statement shortly before the raid. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, or as Carlos put it, AMLO, also John, I think also called him AMLO, condemned the storming of the embassy and Glass's arrest as authoritarian and a flagrant violation of international law and Mexico's sovereignty. I want to believe that I'm pronouncing that word correctly, sovereignty. For many Ecuadorians, granting political asylum to a convicted former vice president by Mexico, particularly considering his affiliation with the Mexican president, appeared to be a travesty of justice, remarked lawyer and political commentator Adrian Perez Salazar. I completely agree with what Adrian is saying. If you look at it, look, I get the conversation, what John is saying about, I think John mentioned it earlier, the whole situation with Noboa, Villavicencio, the possibilities and everything, what everyone is talking about in the comments of the live chat. I get it. I really do. But you have to realize that as an Ecuadorian, as a person who lives here, like if I right now, if I go out on the street and I commit a crime, any crime, and let's just say a crime that's a little bit more excessive. I rob a person's phone, I beat up someone on the street, I'm carrying around a weapon without the license. I guarantee you, I'll be in jail faster than you can say AMLO. This man, his abbreviation, the abbreviation of his name, because that's how the law works. Like here, you get sent to jail pretty quickly if you commit a crime. Like people talk about, like, that's why everyone is paranoid. At least people who drive a vehicle and like to be on the right side of the law. If you drive a vehicle and you don't have it matriculated or enrolled, whatever you want to call it, you go to jail like fast. Like the police stop you, and if you don't want to pay them the money to, like, to tell them to chill out, bribe. If you don't want to do that, and like they're just not in a good mood, like they'll take your motorcycle, they'll impound it, or your car if it's a car, and they'll send you to jail. And there's no ifs and buts. Like there's no, oh no, no, please, unless you have a family member in the police force, then you can be like, oh, my cousin's uncle's grandfather is the police chief. I don't know, whatever. You go to jail. But for a vice president, doesn't matter if he's a vice president, a fugitive, someone who's been convicted and who's been deemed a criminal because they're corrupt in corruption cases, like, and they don't go to jail, and they can seek asylum and refuge, and other countries will give it to them. Like bruh, that's not fair. As a common Ecuadorian out on the streets of Ecuador, just chilling and like trying to abide by the laws, like to see someone who earns more money than I could probably ever imagine seeing, it's like crazy for them to get like so many pardons, so many like permissions to like just do whatever they feel like, and like still not be punished for it. So I get it. I get the comment from Adrian Perez Salazar. So yeah, going down further into the article. Oh, living, loving abroad. Yo, what's up? Steve, LaShawn, how's it going? Dude, I'm literally making a script for a video on the subject right now. Lol. You're always a step ahead, my friend. I salute you. I salute you too. Honestly, I was fighting myself about talking about this, mainly because it was like it just happened. It happened so fast, and I was like, is this something I want to talk about? And yes, I put off making the video that I was going to make today because I wanted to make a channel update video, which is something I've never really done for my channel. I've only talked about it on stream. And I put it off because I thought that this was pretty important. And I thought that it was something good for everyone to know, like what the situation is. And from my personal perspective, like I said, I feel like it's not fair for them to like grant this person refuge, asylum, when he's a criminal. Like, treat him as such. Let him receive his justice over here. Don't treat him better because maybe he's your friend or because he's involved in the cartel stuff that your country promotes, seemingly, supposedly. Anyways, but the fact that there was this grievance does not, at least under international law, justify the forceful breach of an embassy, Salazar told Al Jazeera from Guayaquil, Ecuador. See, that was the part that really surprised me when I talked when I talked to my coworkers in the morning. Like, my first thought, the first thing I thought when I heard that Mexico's embassy was invaded was like, are we crazy? Like, is Ecuador going crazy? But then they explained to me the situation with Jorge Glass. Mexico's protecting him apparently since December, and he's a criminal. So it's like, so I understood the reasoning behind doing it, but now we have a problem with Mexico. So it's like, was it worth it? Not sure. We're gonna see, because we're gonna look at the possible consequences that I showed you earlier, and we can talk about whether it was worth it or not. Carlos AMLO dared to insult our president, Dina Boluarte, as espuria. I do not know the translation of this word in English. Maybe you can do it, but it means something very awful. I'm not 100% sure either. It made me think of the word escoria, which is scum. And I was like, and if it's anything like that, then that's a really ugly thing to call someone. Like, I might not like someone but I'm not gonna call them something that's excessive, you know. Um, Gihul, not sure if that's the correct pronunciation. Hello from Guayaquil. Hello. Peru has Torre Tagle, was in one of the best diplomatic staff in Latin America. We follow the correct path. First step was diplomatic Mexican staff kicked out of Peru within the first 72 hours. See, if we look at the comment like over here that was made by, I'm guessing Adrian, Salazar, who told Al Jazeera, like, and if what I heard in the morning was correct, because this is what my coworkers told me, friends and coworkers, basically the 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 people who raided the embassy, the police, they kicked the Mexican, I guess, ambassador out of the Mexican embassy, and kick as a very literal term. Like they literally like apparently kicked that person. Like that's the way they told me it. Like I don't know if they were just trying to be funny about it, but if they really put their hands on the Mexican ambassador, I can completely see why Mexico would be upset and why this is not the correct course of action for what had to happen. Like I could understand like ignoring what the Mexican ambassador was saying while they were invading the Mexican embassy, which is, like I said, already something pretty crazy in my mind. But I can see them going in and like, okay, don't pay attention to him. Go get Glass, get him out, and send him to jail or whatever they did with him. But like to put their hands on the Mexican ambassador, like that's gonna cause a conflict no matter what. Like I wouldn't be surprised if to like, well, no, I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if Mexico went to war with us for it, but like not war, but if they did the things that like I said earlier, I have the supposed consequences in a list over here, which we're gonna check out after I check this out and after I show you some of the memes. I also don't want to make this stream very long because it's just to talk about a topic that I feel is just really, really new, and we still don't know what the complete repercussions are, but I want to look at the ones that are possible repercussions. All right. Looking over here at this, international law is very clear that embassies are not to be touched, and regardless of whatever justifications the Ecuadorian government might have, it is a case where the end does not justify the means. If we go by the law, then we're boned. We're doomed. We're beeped. Oh boy. I'm really worried about the repercussions. Like, I understand why it was done. Like, I'm not going to say I don't understand it. I hate the idea of a criminal being allowed to just seek refuge. But it's like, if we're going to have repercussions that are going to be really bad for the country, oh boy. All right. AMLO has a national broadcast TV program, Mañaneras. He was talking bad comments about Peru, trying to put down Dina Boluarte after he insisted for. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name, by the way, wrong. I apologize. After he insisted for a while, we stamped AMLO as non grato. Yeah, I did see that conversation about them being non grato. I also do not know the translation into English, but the consequences are AMLO is not welcome to Peru anymore. And if he forces his way into our country, we will not be allowed. He will not. I'm guessing he will not be allowed to enter the country. So no matter what, he's exiled from Peru. Exiled is not the right word. I think he's forbidden from entering. Invading the Mexican embassy was a mistake. Noboa fell into the trap. It was what Mexico wanted Peru to do. But as I said before, Torre Tagle knew how to manage this kind of situation. Yeah, it does seem kind of like a trap that was set for us, kind of like give us a reason to do something in Ecuador. If that's the reality, Mexico could take action against Ecuador now. I hope it's not war, of course. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I'd be kind of surprised. I feel like they have the power to be able to do bad things over here. So down here, I'm seeing something about the assassination. Yeah, here. Lopez Obrador's comments, this is what I mentioned earlier, referencing the assassination of Ecuadorian president candidate presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio last year, and drawing parallels with recent violence in Mexico's Ecuadorian cycle, were met with indignation by Ecuador, implying that the assassination influenced the election outcome. López Obrador criticized media owners and those fostering an atmosphere of violence during election campaigns. So subsequently, Ecuador declared Mexican ambassador Raquel Serur Smek persona non grata, like what Carlos said, ordering her swift departure from the country. Truly, like I said, it's kind of bad as a president, as anyone in a position where they speak to an audience, to say something that the audience is going to interpret in a bad way. Like, we have no choice. There's nothing we say, not everything we say is going to be perfect. But when you're the president, you're under more pressure because you don't just get the consequences from the people. You get the consequences from the president from a different country. Like I'm guessing the comments led, and it could have been a trap, like Carlos is saying. It led Noboa to be like, they don't respect us, so we're not going to respect them, which is not a good way to do it. It's kind of, I guess you could say, childish in a way to fight that way. Like, oh, because they didn't respect us, we're not going to respect them. In a worldwide political landscape, I don't think it works that way. Like, I don't like you, so I'm going to treat you bad. That's not exactly how it works. Like, if you clearly commit a crime and do something bad, then yeah, we can like do something. But like, I mean, I guess you could say the comments from the Mexican president were bad enough to like instigate Noboa, but it's like he shouldn't have allowed himself to be instigated that way. Like, there were different ways he could have responded, is what I'm trying to say. On the other side, though, if Ecuador embassies around the world get invaded, they will have to accept that they violated the sanctity of an embassy under international law. You can't do and expect not to be done. It's pretty much the golden rule. Do unto others what you want them to do to you. And I follow that rule like it's my life. Ooh. Oh, that was my mic. I hope we can still hear me. Hello. Papicho, hey, how's it going? Glad you made it. Hold up, this thing fell back here. Let me stick it back on really quick. It's my little makeshift thing, so that way I can put the receiver of my mics. So yeah, I do think we fell for a trap. Now that I look at it that way, so we're in trouble, and now we're subject to that happening to us as well. And that sounds really bad, a lot worse than I'd like it to. Mexicans are very welcome. They are our fellow great friends. Mexicans in Peru are continuing making business, even though AMLO tried to stop it. Honestly, the conversation of spite, I guess you could say, like, because this president of this country did something bad. It's like Russia. I guess that's the best example I can give right now, because I think that's the most negative example, the most extreme example. I don't hate Russia. Like, I hate what the president of Russia is doing, obviously, but I don't hate Russia. All Russians are not to blame for what the Russian president decided to do with Ukraine. Looking at it in this situation, all Mexicans are not bad just because Mexico's president decided to say that Noboa rigged the election by killing Villavicencio. That it would be absurd for me to hate all Mexicans for what the Mexican president did. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. So yeah, let's look at the memes. I'd look at the other article, but it's pretty much just the same thing, just in different words by a different news source, in this case MSN. So I do want to look at the memes because I thought they were pretty funny. First, with the first meme that you could probably see on screen now. The first one, it says Ecuador forcibly entering an embassy is very bad. Even I know that. And it's Bart talking to Bart, American style, like, the United States talking to Ecuador. Like, basically, you can't do that. Even the United States knows, and their neighbors knows that they can't just invade Mexico. So it's like it is pretty crazy to do something like that, And I thought that meme was pretty funny. Let's see here. I'm gonna look for another one really quick. I'm gonna put the just chatting scene. Let me look for another meme that I thought was pretty funny. Let's see here. Well, I mean, this one is just literally the image, one of the images that I saw in the news sources, where the police are like invading the Mexican embassy, and it's like, ¿Y tú en qué país vives? And you, in what country do you live? Well, we live in the country where our police force invades the embassy of a country, which is really bad. Living Loving Abroad, time to go record. Keep the great info coming. 10K subs. Woo, let's go. 10K. Good luck recording, Stephen LaShawn. I hope to see the video soon. I actually saw your video this morning before I went to work about it was the most recent video. Let me see here. The name of the video was Good Times, Normalized Poverty. And I thought, I didn't know that. Like, I honestly had no idea. I never saw the show Good Times. A lot of shows that I didn't even know existed, that you guys mentioned. But it was an interesting discussion, interesting conversation. So yeah, going back to the memes. So yeah, we live in a country where this was apparently a good decision. I don't think it was the worst decision. They could have done worse. They could have ended the life of the Mexican ambassador, but we didn't, thank goodness. So a lot of things could have happened that could have made the situation a lot worse. Yeah, get it done, Stephen LaShawn. Get it done. It was a good video. It was a good conversation. I'd honestly talk about it now, but I feel like someone who watches the replay is going to be like, get to the point. And I'm trying to get to the point of this whole situation. The point is, obviously, what was done is terrible. And now I feel like obviously, there's no going back. I don't know what the repercussions are going to be, except for the ones that we're going to talk about, the possible repercussions. But first, let's look at this last meme, which was the one that had me rolling this morning. And it's this Doraemon meme. For anyone who hasn't watched the series, it's an anime that they show this all the time on Ecuadorian TV. Doraemon, Nobita, and it's like, I'm inviting you to my first conflict with Mexico. No faltes, don't miss out, I guess you could say. Make sure to attend. I thought it was hilarious. I saw this and I was rolling in the morning, like when I was at work. So yeah, it was pretty funny. So let me see the other comments. Carlos and SXN. Hello, SXN. I saw some comments. AMLO said he was not going to give the presidency of Alianza del Pacífico to Dina because she is espuria. We in Peru were patient and found alliances in South America. And bingo, continue. Gabriel Boric, president of Chile, left wing is AMLO, support our position and sent a diplomatic delegation to Lima, where they publicly declared full support to Lima. It was a knockout for AMLO. I think, like I said, like in the case, like we're not gonna hate Mexicans for what the Mexican president is doing, and in that same way, Latin American countries and presidents, they're gonna support what they think is right. So if Peru is getting support, it's because they consider that what was done is right. Now with Ecuador, because we invaded an embassy and did something that is really, really bad, I have no idea what that's going to result in, really. How bad the consequences are going to be, basically. SXN, in my opinion, embassies shouldn't be able to harbor foreign nationals. Embassies are there to protect and help their own nationals in a foreign country. International laws should be changed to reflect this. In the sense that, like, I'm really mad, like, about the idea that you can go, like, I can commit a crime and I'd be in jail and like that. But people can seek asylum in a foreign embassy and like and be safe. Like I don't like how that is a possibility when you know you're a criminal. Like like live up to what you did. Like accept your crimes and go to jail. So I do like that idea that foreign people try to seek asylum and they should not be allowed to seek asylum in a foreign country's embassy. Like if it were my embassy, like if I were in Mexico and I go to the Ecuadorian embassy, which I'm pretty sure right now is a chaos right now, like yeah, I should be protected because I'm an Ecuadorian. But like if I go seek asylum in for example, let's just say Peru's embassy, like what do I have to do with Peru? Like I know Carlos like supports me and we get along here and like it's all good, but it's like what do I have to do with Peru? Like Peru's not going to defend me just because me and Carlos get along. That's not how this works. That's not how it should work. In as much as I agree with President Noboa's actions, it is technically a declaration of war. The embassy grounds are the land of the country whose embassy is on the land. See, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised, while at the same time I would be surprised if Mexico decided to go to war with us, but like it doesn't feel like okay. It doesn't feel like a huge deal in the sense that like we didn't do something horribly terrible, I guess. Like, yeah, we did something bad. Yeah, like invading another country is bad, like their embassy. But like, did we do something as horrible as like kill someone like important in another country bad? I don't think so. So it just feels kind of like it would feel kind of weird for us to be sent to like to have like a consequence that big for something that wasn't that big. I don't know if that makes sense. But it's like it's bad. Like I know it was bad. Like there's no denying that what we did was something bad. But like would Mexico go to war with us for that? If they did, I think there's definitely some kind of behind the scenes interest on Mexico's end. But like but I but if we don't go to war with them, I feel like that's the ideal outcome and what should happen. Like Mexico, all Ecuadorians are not bad. We didn't want this to happen. It happened because you harbored a criminal, and we do think that at least getting the criminal out of there was okay. But like if we've wronged you for more than that, like okay, let us know like what we did because I don't think we did anything as bad, you know? But anyways, let's go on. I wanna show you. I'm gonna put on the just chatting scene. I want to show you the. Let me see. I have to close the stream over here on my phone. Okay, so this was what I was talking about earlier. The consequences, the supposed consequences of what happened. So I'm gonna read them out loud, of course, and we can talk about them. Do you think these will actually be the consequences? So the consequences of an invasion of Mexico or invading Mexico. Consequence number one: the people that obtain their degrees in universities in Mexico cannot register them in Ecuador. That's consequence number one. Possible consequence number one. Well, let's talk about it. What do you think? Do you think Ecuador as a country would be petty enough to say we're not going to accept a degree that's from Mexico? Or vice versa? Do you think Mexico is not going to accept people who got their degree in Ecuador in jobs over in Mexico? What do you think about that? Give it some thought. Think about it and tell me what you think. I think it's absurd because what does the average Ecuadorian studying a career like if I want to study in the University of Mexico right now, like I study in Mexico, I get a degree in something really cool like mechanics or like mechatronica, which is like robotics and stuff. I think that's a really cool career. A friend of mine studied it. If I get that degree in Mexico, you're gonna tell me I can't work in Ecuador because Ecuador doesn't want to register my degree from Mexico? Like what does that have to do with anything? Like my education is still good. I just got it in Mexico because maybe I thought it was better, maybe it was cheaper, maybe I had family that could like have a place for me to stay. Like that would be crazy for me to come over here and my degree doesn't mean jack squat just because we're in conflict with Mexico. Like what does it have to do with anything? Let me see. Kenneth has a comment. I want to read it. Let me see if I can read it. A family member of mine works at a school in Ecuador called Republic of Mexico, and I told her they're gonna shut down her school, and she got so mad at me. I'd be pretty mad too, because especially if you told me I was about to lose my job, because right now you can't lose your job. Like you will be in a terrible position if you lose your, like we're in a bad position as it is. Losing your job is just gonna suck. Like I have to get, like I'm literally getting another job in order to make things better in my house. Like losing a job would just be horrible. All right, let's check the second consequence. They do occasionally do some ceremonies with the country's Independence Day. Maybe they'll just stop doing that, you know? So the second point, the second consequence, they will prohibit all exportations of from Ecuador to Mexico and vice versa. So you're gonna mess with people's business. Like the Ecuadorian population struggles in finding jobs and earning money. You're gonna stop the exportation of products from Ecuador to Mexico. I just feel like you're hurting the people more. If oh my god, like it just seems so dumb. Like you'd just be hurting the people if you did that. Let me see. I see some more comments over here. Beyond borders, educators shape the minds of the future. They train your thought waves as in pro or anti of the philosophy of the country. So basically, if we like, I think I get what you're saying. So if I go to study in Mexico, since the educator is Mexican, assumedly, they're gonna influence me so that I take the side of Mexico's policies. And like so I don't like basically I become kind of like not Ecuadorian anymore at that point. I mean, I get it because I'm an educator and I get how we can have an influence on our students, but I'd still find it kind of weird if like my degree came from Mexico and they're not going to accept it in Ecuador. Like it'd just be kind of bad. Like for the Ecuadorian that's studying, then why would you come back? Like if I'm an Ecuadorian living in Mexico and like I had every intention of coming back, why would I come back if my degree is not going to work here anymore? I might as well just become Mexican. Like screw Ecuador because Ecuador decided that my degree doesn't mean jack. Papicho, rules and policy in every country are different here in the United States. Even with a doctor degree, you have to take a short test to be certified as a doctor in the United States, which I think is fine. But like for your degree to mean nothing would just be like, what did I study for? Like that's what I'm getting at. Like I can get like the philosophy, the idea of a teacher influencing their student, and I can get having to take a test just to make sure that your education is good and fresh, maybe. But like saying no, you got your degree in this university that we don't agree with. So no, like that would be bad. Yes, it is weird, but the question is why would they? You would return because it is your home. But like people already leave Ecuador because like there's no job opportunities. The job opportunities that exist pay crumbs compared to what you'd earn doing something not even related to what you studied in a different country. So it's like why would I want to come back if I'm if I would come back to an Ecuador that's already struggling, why would I want to come back if my degree means nothing in Ecuador and I'm just going to struggle more? That's what I'm getting at, you know? Like I just feel kind of like it wouldn't be the best idea. WVIEWC, hello. Julian Assange sought and was given refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London for years. The UK respected international law, and it was not until Ecuador kicked out Assange that the UK arrested him. And that's good. I get that. That's why I do think it's not like, I think some people even said it was not the ideal decision to be made, but we all understand why it was done. Like as a normal Ecuadorian citizen, I am tired of people who commit crimes getting away with it. Like get those people in jail or something, you know? Hello, Daniel. How's it going? Salud. Buenas. Glass could not leave Ecuador. He would be held up in the Mexican embassy. I'm kind of wondering, because I'm a novice and I don't understand like how the embassy works, but like how long can you stay in an embassy? Like legally, how long can you have asylum in an embassy? Like months, years? Like if it's a long time, then, or if it's forever, then it just feels kind of like not fair. Like it's still not fair to me. Like I said, I could go to jail for the most minimal thing, and you're gonna tell me that these people go into an embassy and just hide there, and I'm guessing they live even better lives than I live right now, and I'm not even in like an embassy, and this is my own home. Like I don't know. I don't know. Someone who understands the embassy, please explain it to me so I understand. Indefinitely in theory. God, that is just crazy. Al, how's it going? Hola a todos desde Panama. How's it going? I hope everything is good in Panama. Okay. So we just talked about the second consequence, which is talking about exportations, which I don't agree with. Again, I think I'm not going to agree with the majority of these points because it just affects the person who does the business. Like in this case, it affects a person who does exportations. Like, not cool. Third one, they will no longer give Mexican visas to Ecuadorians. So Ecuadorians will not be able to travel to Mexico. Okay, I still don't like it, but I can get that Mexico would not want Ecuadorians in their country. I don't like it though. I don't think it's fair. What did I do to Mexico? It just feels like these rules, like the possible consequences, affect the people who don't deserve to have it affect them, you know? And all because Mexico tried to protect a criminal, someone who is considered a criminal. Glass would have been a prisoner of his own choosing in the Mexican embassy. Okay, we can look at it like that. Glass is a prisoner in an embassy. Is an embassy really nice? Is it bad? Like how much of a criminal is he in an embassy? Like how is he treated in there? Because like if I had to choose, once again, normal Ecuadorian citizen, if I had to choose between going to jail or spending time in an embassy, I have no idea what an embassy looks like for a person seeking refuge. But I would prefer whatever that is over jail in a normal jail. And that's considering I don't know what it's like. Olvídense de obtener tacos mexicanos. Forget about Mexican tacos. They're gonna make you undergo a diet. Now I understand why someone posted on the Facebook group for Manta about the discount of the Mexican tacos. I thought it was just because they were old or stale or something, but now I understand. Okay, wow, I'm dumb. Okay, let's see here. Carlos, another support for Peru came from Brazil. The very respected President Lula da Silva invited Dina Boluarte, according to AMLO, to a regional meeting of countries. Mexicans began to say, no seas metiche, like don't get involved, basically, or don't be a person who gets involved in these things, to AMLO. Was very good to see millions of Mexicans supporting Peru in this matter, receiving support from Brazil. I mean, like I said, I don't think the problem extends to the people. Like, if you cause problems for the people, yeah, but like as an Ecuadorian, I have no problem with Mexicans. Like, we're good. First of all, whomever goes into an embassy as a refugee has to pay for. Oh, okay, okay. That makes more sense. Thank you for resolving that, Al, because I was just thinking, like, you're just going into this place like it's nothing. So you're kind of paying for hotel then, basically. But this same principle has been used for good throughout history, such as Jews escaping the Holocaust, running to the Dominican embassy in Eastern Europe, getting asylum, and fleeing. But I mean, you can't compare Jews who did nothing wrong with with a literal criminal going into an embassy. Like, Jews were considered criminals in the eyes of the Germans, of the Nazis, but they weren't actually criminals. At least the way we understand history. Beyond borders, you have to place yourself in the place of the leaders. It is not whether you agree or not, but rather what would the leaders do to prove a point. They don't put the people first in these cases. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm looking at it more in the perspective of a person who just doesn't like that it's not fair. But I get what you're saying, and you know why I get it, because I thought about it this way, and maybe it's the way that you're explaining it to me. Basically, if I'm the president and if I let Ecuador do whatever they want with my embassy, like, I'm gonna look like a pushover, and no one's gonna respect my country, my embassy, and it's gonna be like, if Ecuador can do it and no consequences, anyone can do it. I get it. I get that. So yeah, we're boned. So the end point is we're boned. We're gonna receive some kind of consequence. The question, and to everyone, if you're Ecuadorian, if you're a foreigner, like, my question to you, do you think that the consequence will be severe enough that it will basically cut off all our ties with Mexico? Or will it just be kind of like, okay, don't do that again. Never do that again. Like that. Like, what do you think is the consequence? Or what do you think is the ideal consequence for what happened? Because we're not done with the list of consequences. You know what? We're going to speed read the rest of the consequences. So, consequence number 4, uh, economic sanctions from the, what do you call this in English? The Organization of American States. So, economic sanctions. So, basically, we get charged for what we did, for the crime we committed. Consequence number 5. Ecuadorians that are studying in Mexico will not be able to renew their student visas. Come on, please don't do that. Like, okay, we promise to speed read these. The last one. Ecuadorians that find themselves illegally in Mexico and are detained will not be deported to Ecuador. They will stay prisoners in Mexico. So these are the consequences that I found that reached me and many other people, and I still think they're possible consequences. I have no way to confirm that this is actually what's going to happen, you know? But like are they fair? Are these fair consequences? The one that I agree with the most out of all these consequences, I think maybe the only one I agree with, is the sanctions, the economic sanctions. If we just look at it from me being a common Ecuadorian citizen, like, I think that yes, being fined for what we did is okay. I have no problem with that. I might even agree with the one of Ecuadorians who are illegally in Mexico, basically someone who's trying to cross the border into the States. They get sent back to Mexico, sent to jail. Serve your jail time in Mexico. I'm sorry, but you tried to commit a crime, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I know that's unfair because I know why people do it, and I've got a big story about that in some point in the future. But it's like, like I get it. And like at the same time, I also think there should be punishment for it. Well, there's a very thin line of my conversation of what I have of thoughts about this, but I'll leave that for a later date. I think those two consequences are the ones I agree with. I might say that the rest of the consequences are like, okay, I understand them, but I don't like them. Like punishing students again, and punishing people trying to sell a product to a different country. Like that's basically the consequences. Let's see here. Kenneth, yes, that's the point. It's all about perspective. You are still violating the convention, though. Yeah, that's why I said I understand. I'm putting myself in the position of the president of Mexico, and I understand why he just can't let it go. Like even if he had no hidden agenda, which I can't confirm if he does or doesn't, but if he has no hidden agenda, I can understand why, as a leader, he just can't say, "Hey, okay, cool, whatever." No, he can't do that. He has to dish out some kind of consequence. I feel it depends on how closely are the ties between the two nations. OAS would be the first step to solve the issue. Yeah, that's why I can agree with the OAS, dishing out some kind of fine for Ecuador, because we committed a crime. We got to accept our punishment. Consequence: Ecuador won't be trusted by any other countries now. Yeah, that actually could be another consequence, and it'd be a fair consequence to think about, because just think about it if it were your own home. Like, if someone comes into your house without your permission, you gonna trust that person in the future? No, it's gonna be weird. Like, other people are gonna know that person goes into your house without permission. Where did you get those consequences? A friend of mine sent them to me. They were sent to him. I've seen them, circulating through different forms of media. I saw it in X. Like I said, it got to me through my friend, who I don't know where he received it. But he sent it to me through WhatsApp, so maybe it was on WhatsApp as well. Hard to say. I don't know where the consequences originally came from. The possible consequences. Like I said, they're not guaranteed. They're just possible. In my honest opinion, very bad diplomatic staff in Ecuador, and most countries of the world will not support Ecuador. I am sad for this because AMLO is going to get politician advantage in his movement now. Probably. I'm also sad because I think this is going to diminish people's faith in Noboa, because there's already people who don't like how he handled the Easter weekend. There's already people who think he's not handling the situation correctly because he's a young guy. So I can see how people would be like, now with this, like, can we really trust Noboa? And I don't think that's the correct mindset. Just think about it in the sense that he tried to enact justice in a way that wasn't correct, but he didn't do it with ill intentions. Perspectives, once again. Ecuador and Mexico tienen las mismas costumbres. They have the same customs, religion, and language. This is not going to last if Ecuador asks for forgiveness. Ooh, boy. I don't know if there's going to be pride involved in this, but we'll see. Obrador Lopez is extremely sensitive to the sovereignty of Mexico. He always mentions this when the U.S. talks about taking down their cartels. He's super sensitive about this. I mean, we don't know if his sensitivity is because of the sovereignty, or it could be because he has some kind of interest in the cartels. Could be. By the way, sorry, but this is how I get to practice my Spanish. No te preocupes. Do not worry. Remember, I am bilingual, so I am okay with you using English and Spanish. As long as, we translate it for everyone as well. Beyond borders, I'm hoping USA and Ecuador's ties are close enough that Ecuador doesn't get blacklisted by USA, like NK and Cuba. That's tough because it also depends on who the next president of the United States is going to be. Imagine if Trump is the next president, because that is looking like a possibility right now. And Trump is like, I don't want anything to do with Latin America. Like unless they're giving him money or something. Like, imagine if he just puts himself in that position. It's tough. I'm not sure. In my ideal world, and I know we don't live in an ideal world, but in my ideal world, I just hope that the biggest consequence of what happened is obviously Ecuador kind of being like viewed as a country that does things kind of impulsively. And I don't think this was an impulsive decision because, like we said, Jorge Glass had been in Mexico's protection, under their protection, since December. So it's been at least 4 months now. 5 if we count December. So, like, we know it's not an impulsive decision, but like other countries might view it as such. And I just hope that that's like the worst that they think of Ecuador. Like, okay, Ecuador will take somewhat impulsive decisions. They'll do something that's kind of crazy, but they won't do it all the time. They'll do it when it's something that like that's politically involved, like a politician who is corrupt, we want him in jail. Something like that. Like, people will look at Ecuador as a country that takes no BS when it comes to criminals that are like that are being held, like that are being safeguarded, I guess. Like, I hope that's the worst thing that happens. With the second worst thing is Ecuador being fined by the OAS. Okay, I'll take those two as the worst consequences. Anything more, like Ecuador being banned from trade, or them not like, or the students not being able to visit other countries, like if those things happen, like that just seems like unfair, and that would make me very sad. Like, I'll accept the first two punishments that I mentioned because I get it. Other countries don't trust us. I get it. They think we're excessive when it comes to political issues or criminals that are politically involved. I get that. And the fine, definitely get that because we deserve it. But anything else is just kind of like don't mess with our students, don't mess with our workers because we have a hard time as it is, you know? Beyond borders, Trump would most likely be very favorable to Noboa's actions. As long as we don't become enemies, cool. Daniel, actually, you brought up a good point about Alvaro Lopez. For him to be that resistant to the U.S. intervening in his cartel problem, he probably has some allegiance to them. I mean, that's just an assumption. Like, I have nothing that can justify that is the case or prove that I'm right. But like it just always seems so weird to me that you would deny the help of another country to resolve an issue that you're having. Like, I realize, I know the conversation some people are going to say, the United States has its own drug problems. Yeah, I know. But why not work together to resolve them? Like, let's resolve each other's problems. Let's help each other out. I don't know. Maybe I'm too idealistic. Like, I want an ideal world where we all get along. And maybe that's just not the way. But, you know, it's just a thought. It's just what I wish. And my wishes don't necessarily have to be aligned with anyone else's or with the politicians. But I just wish, you know. Al, by the way, everyone is worried about ex-Vice President Glass, but where is ex-President Moreno? You mean to tell me that he did not know about the bribes that was going on? Welcome to Ecuador. Let's see here. Right now, the best thing to do on the Ecuador side is looking for a mediator, a sort of middle country that would be a conciliador on both sides. Negotiation is important now. Faster, the better. Definitely. It would be good to have someone just kind of like keep the peace between us, because I don't think Ecuador wants problems with Mexico. We sure did go look for them, but I don't think that's what we wanted. We just wanted glass because we want the criminal in jail, you know? Kenneth, totally off topic, but did you ever do a video telling us about your story, like an intro on why you live in Ecuador, or how you got into the teaching career? Ooh, that is a big story time. Still have not done it yet. I think I'm going to save that video for when I have 10K subscribers. Because at 10K subscribers, I have to assume that at least 100 of them like me as a person. I'm going to be real with you, and I'm going to talk about this when I make my update video, because it's going to be a pretty heavy update video. I think that when it comes to YouTube, and this is the reality of YouTube, people don't come to your channel most of the time because they like you. They come because you gave them something that they like. People who become members, like Beyond Borders, Mark Horning, the people who I can remember that became members, Lisa, they become members because they support you as a person. Like, they like you as a person, and they want to support you further than that. So they'd be interested in a topic about you. But most people aren't. Like, let me just give you an example. Let me show you my channel really quick. I know we're getting really off topic, and I do apologize for that. But it's necessary to understand, because Daniel said we've been waiting a year for that video. But believe me, it's not that I don't want to make it. It's just such a personal video that it's like, who would want to watch that? I know it sounds weird coming from the creator, but like, it's real. It's a real thing that we worry about as creators. Who really wants to watch our videos, and what videos do they really want to watch? And you're gonna see the point that I'm trying to make right now when I show you my channel. So let's take a look at my channel really quick before we end the stream, because I think we're good with talking about this whole situation with Mexico. And if anyone wants my final thoughts, it's what I said earlier. If there are any two consequences that we should receive, that I'd be okay with receiving as an Ecuadorian, because I realized that we made a mistake. We did something that was not good. Consequence one, fine us. Give us a fine. I'll take it. Fine us what you have to fine us, because we committed a crime. Consequence two, the lack of trust from other countries when it comes to these political situations. You harbor a criminal, you give him refuge, asylum. Yeah, we want to take action against it in some way. Is it right to take action in that way? Probably not. But, don't trust us because of that. I get it. Those are the two consequences that I completely agree with. So yeah, let's check. And by the way, Kenneth, you did not, I think it says kill the live stream. No, I didn't want this live stream to last longer than an hour or an hour and a half, because believe it or not, I have gotten comments that say, it's too long, get to the point, or no, you talk too much. And really, those comments hurt a little bit, because it's not that I try to talk a lot because like I want to purposely make the stream longer. Not my intention. If I can end the stream faster, I always try to, because I like getting to the point, But like, sometimes we just have to talk. Like, we have to have a conversation. I think the people who are here, and right now, this is telling me that there are 40 concurrent viewers. I'm not sure if that means there are 40 people right now on the stream, but like, I have to assume that 40 of you want to spend time with me and talk with me, and like, and listen to what I have to say. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here. But that doesn't mean everyone's going to want that. Some people just want the information and they're gone. That's the YouTube reality, which I'm going to show you right now. So let me show you my channel. I think most people, you already know my channel, of course. So this is my channel. Of course, this is my if you go into my channel, this is my channel. And realize, let me give you the best example. What is the most popular video on my channel? It is my 22 tips for traveling to Ecuador video, which it surpassed 100,000 views. Thank goodness, my first official long form 100,000 view video. Thank you very much if you formed a part of watching that video. It was a good video to make. I did not expect it to do as well as it did, but I'm really happy that it did because of that video, my channel has been growing. Because of that video, my channel has been growing. Realize what that means. That means that people come to my channel because they want to watch more content like this, because they want tips, they want information about Ecuador. What happened when I posted the video about my dad? The 22 tips video got 100,000 views in the course of a year, of course. But even before the year happened, like in less than like a few months, it already had 10,000 views. It had a good amount of views. My dad's video, which has been up for 9 days, has 610 views. And I think if I check the analytics, it's not performing well. Is it a bad video? No, it's my dad's video. It's my dad's story. It's everything about my dad. Like him talking about his childhood, you know? It's a really good video. But people don't watch it because they're not interested. Because they don't only, let's say, only 600 people care about my dad. And that's just the reality. And that's okay because you don't have to like me. You don't have to like my dad. If you do, hey, thank you very much. And I appreciate it. You're going to make me blush. But it's just, that's the thing. That's just the way that YouTube is. You're not always going to get the amount of views you think. You don't understand what works. I've been studying YouTube this whole time, and I still don't get it. Like, I still don't understand everything. I understand a lot of things. Making a good thumbnail, I'm still not good at it, but I understand it. Good title, editing, I've become so good at it, and it's still not there, you know? So yeah, Beyond Borders, as you have discussed in the past live streams, last as long as needed. Yeah, I've talked about it, but there are people who don't get it. So, you know, just giving you an explanation. Hello, Alexandra. Retaliation will come from Mexico. I hope this situation won't cause the poor people from Ecuador more misery. However, President Noboa showed the world that he was fearless in acting if necessary. Exactly. That's why I understand. I like, once again, I accept the first consequence and the second one that I talked about, the ones that I gave. Like, if we're not trusted because of that, I get it. If we're fined, fine us because that is necessary. But like, don't take away the opportunity to study for people, for them to travel, for people to you know, do things. Al, Ace, you should do a video on tips on how to rent in the coastal area. I bet you that you would hit 100K. Tips on how to rent in the coastal area. I've been wanting to make a video about renting in this city, in Puerto Viejo. I've been wanting to go around different cities, but it's hard. Currently, I have over 2 hours at minimum of footage for a video of the trip that I did with my friends during the Easter weekend. And that video is costing me a lot to edit because I have to tell a good story, because storytelling is very important on YouTube. That's another thing I've learned on YouTube. I have another video where I interview my friends. We will not really interview them. We talk about the biggest controversies in Ecuador. Those videos are hard to edit, believe it or not, because one of them is completely in Spanish and the other one, I have to tell a good story. If not, people won't watch it through to the end. And that hurts you on YouTube. So it's hard. It's hard. I feel all the videos about Ecuador and reasons to move, visit, and tourism is why I started watching. You are one of my go-to for my future move to Ecuador. Thank you very much, Beyond Borders. Honestly, like that's something that I'm gonna talk about when I make my update video, like channel update, because it's going to be a big channel update. Because as many of you know already, if you follow me enough on YouTube and you've followed my live streams, I'm going to work. I'm going to work another job now. So I'm going to have less time to make videos. But I've never wanted to just limit myself to making one type of video. Like, I love making informative content. Don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite types of content to make. But because not because it's like enjoyable to make, but because I like helping. Like, it's just like this desire to help someone. So that's why I love the fact that the 22 tips video got a lot of views. But I also like making videos like my podcast episodes. Like when I talked about AI, I thought that was an important topic that I had a lot of thoughts about. When I made the video with my dad, obviously, like I want my dad's story to be heard by other people. It's like there are videos that I love making, but I feel like if I make them, and this is a YouTube problem, YouTubers have this problem all the time, not just me, and I'm a small YouTuber, big YouTubers. They have videos they want to make, but they can't make them because people aren't going to watch them. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I'll talk about that in my update video, which is going to be a very raw video because I'm going to try to not edit it. So it's just going to be like me talking about all of this. It's going to look like a live stream almost, except not live. So yeah. Let's see here. Al, by areas, I mean actual homes, interview a few rental agents, etc. I can try that when I have time, because now I'm not going to have time because I'm going to be working all the time. Like, I think I'm only going to have free during the week, like at night. And I'm not even free at night because, as most of you know, I eat once a day. I eat at 5 or 6, and that lasts until like 7 or 8. And then after that, there's just no way I can record. Like, that's why I'm in my updates video, I'm going to talk about how I'm going to try to circumvent that, but it's tough. Breaking news: Nicaragua breaks diplomatic relations with Ecuador. I'm just going to do this because I have to. F in the chat. Oh boy, that's not good. Another one bites the dust. Please, no. I like the podcast also. Thank you for checking them out. Believe it or not, even though they're like my easiest to edit videos, I don't like considering them videos because they're more like something, an experience to listen to. They are ones that I have to research, I have to investigate, I have to think about, and they're my personal thoughts on the situation. They're a deep dive into the topic that I'm talking about. So I appreciate you checking them out. So yeah, there's a lot of things we have to talk about, hopefully at a later date. Today's live stream, this live stream, it's an emergency live stream because I was not expecting it. Like myself, how was I going to expect that we were going to invade Mexico's embassy? So, and now, how was I going to expect that we were going to break, well, Nicaragua was going to break diplomatic ties with us? So there's a lot of things that are going to happen, that are probably going to happen. It's going to be an evolving situation. I was planning, and I still am planning on doing a live stream next week. It might be Saturday. It might be Sunday. Maybe it'll be Friday, depending on my time. So Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, we will have one of those 3 days. There will be another live stream. But this one is planned. This one I had every intention of doing. Not the one for today. Today's live stream is an emergency live stream. Completely unexpected, even for me. But we will be having a planned live stream next week. Tom, love your videos, Ace, listening in Canada. Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate it. Papicho, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. You have great content. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Thank you very much, Papicho. Honestly, it's sometimes it's tough with these social media things because you don't know if you're doing the right thing, and sometimes you let yourself be influenced by a number. I feel like I do great edits. I've learned a lot during the process. I feel like I've been improving on titles, thumbnails, but like the numbers don't reflect it. There aren't a lot of views on my channel. I don't have the subscribers that a lot of people say with the amount of videos and the amount of like things that I do I would have. So it's like, so it's tough. It in your mind, it plays tricks on you. And I'm probably going to talk about that in my updates video. So I won't go too much more into depth into it. But I do appreciate everyone who took the time to be here today, who takes the time to watch all of my videos, because like I said, the 22 tips video has 100,000 views and I don't have 100,000 subscribers. So there's clearly 95,000 people at least who just liked that video and went on their way. Maybe less, because some people might have watched it twice. But you know. BPE, how's it going? At last I heard Bolivia. What happened with Bolivia? Daniel, the podcasts are great too. Thanks for checking them out. I have so many topics sometimes about, like, you know, podcasts, like what I want to talk about, but I'm like, what if I talk about this and it tanks my channel? Like, because that's what happens. Literally, you talk about like I talk about something that's not Ecuador, that video gets 100 to 200 views if I'm lucky, and then afterwards, all the rest of my videos, it feels like they're getting less views. So it's like, you think to yourself, should I keep making videos like that? Oof, man. So I don't know. I have my, okay, so just to give you, because you guys, I love you guys. You're here. And thank you for being here in this live stream. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a heads up. Like I said earlier, I have one video that's already in the process of being edited. My trip to, well, my holiday weekend trip. I won't tell you where because I want it to be kind of a surprise. I have a video where we talk about controversies with my friends. It's in Spanish, but of course I'm going to subtitle it, and that's what's taking me forever. If not, I just upload it and it'd be done. But we have to subtitle it so that more people can understand it. What else? I have to make my updates video. That will probably be coming out this week, if not Monday, Tuesday, maximum Wednesday. That's when it's going to come out, because like I said, it's an unedited video that I have to make and giving updates about what I'm doing. Those are my plans, my most recent, my closest plans. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. I am also, I don't know if it's noticeable, but I'm kind of sunburnt and I'm peeling right now. So yeah, kind of awkward, but just want to let you know. I start officially going to work every day, my new job, on Monday. That's why I don't know if Monday will be the day that the video comes out or if it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday. My other job, of course, third job. But yeah, that is the heads up that I'll give you guys as a thanks for being here in this live stream. Members, I have not forgotten. I still have to make my monthly update. I haven't made it yet because I've just been trying to get the editing for that other video done, and like I let things possess me, like, so I get it done faster. And like I've been possessed editing that video, and when I'm not editing the video, I'm trying to survive the heat, trying to relax as well, because I haven't even started working and I'm already stressed. So yeah, BPE, relax, give it some time, things will settle out. Trust Novoa. We don't understand it all. How is the weather? It is hot. It is very hot. That's why I'm wearing this today instead of wearing a shirt, because I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't even planning on live streaming, but because of the situation, I live streamed. I have the air on, but the air is not in good condition, which is why I messaged someone for maintenance, but they said they won't be able to until Monday. And I don't know if I'll be able to Monday as well. I have to get this. I have to go to the dentist still. There's so many things. Kenneth talks about One Piece, gets 7 views. Lol. Like, I would love to just rant about One Piece. I never even got to make the video where I was going to talk about Akira, about his passing. Like, I really wanted to talk about that because it is such a staple part of my life. Anime is such an important part of my life. Like, you have no idea. my channel isn't anime oriented, just because I think I wouldn't be able to make an anime oriented channel, because I just talk positively about all anime, and that would be boring, apparently, according to the algorithm, according to people. So it's like, no, not. I can reference anime, I can talk about it, but I know a lot of people aren't going to be interested in it. Lisa, hi. We understand, Ace. Whenever you get to these things, we appreciate it. So everybody hit the notification bell. Yes. Like the live stream if you enjoyed it. Share it with someone who you think might want to know about the situation in Mexico, the thoughts of a person living here in Ecuador, the situation, what I think about it. And yeah. Ace, good luck in the new job. Thank you very much, Al. I'm going to need it. Like we say here, no me deseas suerte, deseame éxito. Don't wish me luck, wish me success. Because luck is random, but success is guaranteed. It's okay, friend. Maybe you can make a spin-off channel one day. I've contemplated it. Have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I do have a Twitch channel where I was streaming gaming, if anyone's interested in that. Like the video, like if you want to check out more of my stuff, I actually posted some pictures when I went on the trip with my friends. I posted in my Instagram, so if you want to check that out, you can check that out over there. If you want to support me and hopefully make it, like I've said it before, I wish YouTube was paying everything, but if you want to support me so that I can maybe not have to work another job, you can become a member on here, on Buy Me a Coffee. You don't have to, never obligated to. I'm hoping YouTube pops off one day and I can just focus on this. But if you want to make it a better possibility, then I appreciate that. And yeah, we will probably talk soon. Beyond Borders, I'm getting ads. Didn't realize YouTube did that with live streams. Yeah, YouTube does ads with all content. Unless you're a YouTube Premium member, then you don't get ads. But if you're not YouTube Premium member, then ads are a possibility. I have just thumbs up. Thank you, Carlos, Kenneth. I appreciate you guys. Beyond, Al, Lisa, everyone who's joined the chat. I think John at the beginning of the stream, Southern Breeze, Daniel, SXN. I think there was a WW name also as well. There was also Jimmy. A lot of people. Miami guy, hello and thank you. New sub, Dan was hoping to go to Galapagos during winter. No boy, it's an idiot. You can still go. I'm not going to tell you don't go to Galapagos. I'm trying to send my dad to Galapagos with what I'm earning on Buy Me a Coffee. So, you know, if you want to go to Galapagos, please. That's like the safest place in the country. Don't even worry about that. But yeah, it is kind of crazy what happened here. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here today. We'll see each other again, hopefully this coming weekend. Like I said, expect the live stream either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The live stream will most likely be at around maybe in the afternoon, 3 p.m., if not later than that. Okay? So keep like checking the channel during those days. If you don't want to constantly check the channel, hit the notification bell. If you want me to send you a notification, I am planning on, I just don't know how to do that. I might just send an email. Like for people who send me an email, I can send you an email telling you, if you want me to, hey, I'm going to live stream today, be aware. So yeah, if you want that, you can always send me an email. And yeah, take care, you guys. Carlos, muchos saludos a tu papá. I will let him know. SXN, have a great weekend. Have an excellent weekend as well. Bye, everyone. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Please eat something good today. I'm hoping for some good food today as well. Ace out.